Hi, I'm Wes Snow, co-founder of Ascendix. If you're an investment sales broker, your entire business comes down to two questions. What is this property worth? And who's going to buy it? Everything else, the pitch, the offering memorandum, the tour, the negotiation, hangs off those two. The answer to both is sitting in your data. Every deal you've closed is a comp that tells you what things are worth. Every investor you've ever worked is a buyer with an appetite you already know. But that intelligence is trapped in closed records you never fully filled out, in spreadsheets, in your own memory, because getting it in and getting it back out of the CRM was always more work than it was worth. What I'm going to show you is what happens when that stops being true. When your own closed deals quietly become the comp set that prices your next listing, and your own investor relationships become a buyer list you can call up in one sentence. The Ascendix RE AI suite is a few tools working together. Harvest pulls records right out of your email. An AI agent built into Ascendix RE lets you manage deals just by talking to your CRM. And Claude connects to your data for the heavy analysis, pricing, and the matching properties to buyers. Let me walk a disposition from the moment it lands to the moment it's under contract, and then flip the whole thing around and hunt on behalf of a buyer. Inbound comes at you constantly in this business. An investor just emailed about one of my active listings, Silverline Logistics Park. Normally that email sits in my inbox. Watch Harvest instead. I've forwarded this email, which you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, and it's already parsed it and drafted the inquiry against the Silverline listing on the right-hand side of the screen, ready for me to commit to the database. One forwarded email, a structured inquiry logged against the right listing, zero typing. But the big news today is a listing I just won. Let me get that into the system. Here's the one I've been chasing. Veranda Holdings just gave me the listing on Kingsbridge Logistics Center. I've been courting this owner for months. So they're already in my system, and so is the building. Winning it means one thing. I put the listing live, and I'll just tell my CRM to do it. Create a new exclusive sale listing on Kingsbridge Logistics Center for Veranda Holdings, around 205,000 square feet. That's the listing, live, created by my voice against the building and owner I already had in the system. I officially have the assignment. Now the real work starts, and it starts with the question the owner asked me in the room. What's it worth? I've got the listing. Now I have to price it to take to market. Now I know exactly what some of you are thinking, because I think it too. I don't keep sale comps in my CRM. I pull those from CoStar, from my own spreadsheets, from calls to other brokers, and you're right. You probably haven't, because getting comps in was always a pain and there was never a payoff. But here's what's changed. Every time I close a deal now, the system captures the comp for me automatically. So my own closed business has quietly turned into a comp set. Let me put it to work. I'm in Claude now, connected to my Ascendix RE data. I'm pricing Kingsbridge Logistics Center, about 205,000 square feet of Class A industrial in South Dallas. Pull my recent DFW industrial sale comps and show me price per square foot and cap rate for each. Then give me a defensible pricing range for Kingsbridge based on the comparable Class A deals. Look at what it did. It didn't invent a market. It used my closed deals, the ones the system captured for me automatically, and got me hand grenade close in about 10 seconds. Is this a full underwriting? No. Would I still pull CoStar and sharpen it? Of course. But instead of walking into the owner conversation with a blank page, I've got a defensible number and the comps to back it up from my own data. And here's the flywheel. The next deal I close makes this sharper, and capturing it costs me nothing. The more I sell, the better the price. I got the listing and I've got my number. Now the single most valuable thing I can do isn't at my desk, it's right here on my phone. Because the money in this business is knowing who buys this kind of asset. Normally that's me scrolling my memory and my contacts. Instead, I'm going to ask Claude right here between meetings. I just took a Kingsbridge Logistics Center to sell. about 205,000 square feet of Class A industrial in Dallas-Fort Worth, priced at around $23.5 million at a 6 cap. Which of my buyers have an acquisition mandate that fits this deal? Give me their name, what they're looking for, and why they're a fit. That's my afternoon right there. The moment I won this listing, my system handed me 3 buyers most likely to close it, with the reason each one fits, while I'm standing in the parking lot. That's not a contact list, that's a targeted call sheet built from what I already know about how these investors buy. Those calls worked. Sterling Investments came back with an offer. This is the moment a listing turns into a live deal. And it's also where the AI agent inside my CRM earns its keep. I'm not opening records and clicking through fields. I'm just going to tell it what happened. Create a new seller rep deal associated with the Kingsbridge listing period. The buyer is Sterling Investments with an offer of $23.2 million and a standard 1.5% fee period. The stage of the deal is purchase/sale agreement with a probability of 60% and a close date of October 31st, 2026. Add an inside broker commission related to my user record, Wesley Snow, as I'm the only broker on this deal. A listing just became a live dollar value deal created by voice, offer and all, without touching a single field. When this deal actually closes, Ascendix RE automatically prompts me to capture the sale comp, price, cap rate, size, all of it. That's exactly how the comp set I priced from earlier got built. Every deal I close quietly makes the next one easier to price, and I never sit down to do data entry to make that happen. Everything I just showed you was me representing the seller, but most of us wear the other hat too. We represent buyers hunting for acquisitions. It's the exact same engine, just pointed the other way. One of my buyers, Ashfield Logistics Fund, has a mandate. Instead of matching a listing to buyers, I'll match my buyer to what's available. Now put my buyer hat on. Ashfield Logistics Fund is looking to acquire Class A industrial in Dallas-Fort Worth, 150,000 to 250,000 square feet, 18 to 28 million dollars. Which of my available industrial listings fit their mandate? Show the building, size, and price, and why each fits. Same system, same one sentence, but now it's working for my buyer, handing me the deals in my inventory that fit their mandate. That's the whole business, both directions. When I'm selling, it tells me who buys. When I'm buying, it tells me what fits. One engine, one relationship with my data, working every side of every deal I do. One last thing, and it's the thing brokers almost never get to see clearly, my own economics. Because every one of these deals got captured as I worked it, the system already knows what my pipeline is worth. Let me ask about my own commissions. Based on my own commission split on my open buyer rep and seller rep deals that have been entered in the last 60 days, what's my projected commission, weighted by probability, and when would it likely pay based on the expected close date? For the first time, I can see my own pipeline in dollars, what it's worth, weighted, and when it pays. And I never did a minute of data entry to get it. For a broker, that's visibility you never had. For a brokerage, that's every broker's pipeline finally on the books. So that's the AI suite for the way an investment sales broker actually works. 2 questions run your business. What's it worth and who'll buy it? And the answers were always in your data. They were just too much work to reach. Now they aren't. Harvest captures what lands in your inbox. The agent inside Ascendix RE lets you run a deal by talking to it. And Claude turns your own closed business into a pricing engine and your own investor relationships into a buyer list in one sentence from your desk or your phone, selling or buying. Every close makes the deal easier to price, and none of it costs you an evening of data entry. If your value and your buyers are locked in your data, let's set them loose. Thanks for watching.